everybody, and welcome to Clark 5 Talks, Quarantine Edition. This is our fourth episode, and in this episode, we got to interview small business owner Will Sheppy of Valley Health Clinic in Albany. And we did it remotely through our cell phones, but we still made it happen. And so sit back, relax on the couch, grab something to drink, snack on, and enjoy an incredible interview with Will.
Will, how you doing today?
Oh, great. Yeah, I'm doing awesome. I'm excited to be here, and I can't wait to talk to you guys and tell you all about the cool things and exciting things that are going on in my life and all the exciting things that are going on with acupuncture and healthcare.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you being here. We have a few questions from some of our listeners today for you. What different types of acupuncture are there?
There are many different types of acupuncture. The way to think about it is acupuncture is just a tool, and how you use that tool depends on the purpose and the intent. So similar to like a massage, right? So massage is just a tool, but there's many different styles of massage. There's sweetest massage, there's deep tissue massage, there's fascial massage, there's all that sort of stuff. So the styles of acupuncture are normally just named off of where they come from. So there's Japanese acupuncture, there's Chinese acupuncture, there's Korean acupuncture, and then in the West, there's a system of acupuncture that's called 5-element acupuncture. But they're all really kind of from the same source. Acupuncture is a system of medicine and is a part of a system of medicine. And the styles of acupuncture are they're a style. So the difference is a system of medicine is fully encompassing everything, and within that system, you will then have styles. So if you kind of like look at like Kung Fu, there's like like praying mantis. That's just a style of Kung Fu. It's not a complete system. So acupuncture is a part of a system of medicine, which is basically traditional East Asian medicine.
So how long have you owned your acupuncture business?
2012.
Oh, very nice. So one thing that kind of intrigues me is this pull in society of going, I guess traditional versus modern medicine, I guess you could call it. And that have you found that you've had to justify a lot of what you do, or have you not had any struggles with that in owning your business?
I kind of, when I graduated school, I kind of was on the cusp. And the way I'd like to describe it is acupuncture now is where chiropractic, it's like 5 years behind chiropractic. As far as being accepted into the general public. So for a long time, chiropractic medicine was considered, hocus pocus medicine. And through their legislation, and more importantly, through the research, they've been able to prove themselves to the Western community. And so when I graduated, my previous people that have been in practice longer than me had to really deal with a lot of the stigma around acupuncture. And even when I graduated, I'd have people at church being like, "Oh, you do acupuncture? Oh, do you believe in the devil?" And I'll have patients call me and be like, "Hey, I want to do acupuncture, but my pastor won't let me." So we do see a lot of that, but it's getting a lot more accepted.
So I have a question about, this might actually be too broad. It might be hard to generalize, but with that approach, being more holistic and actually trying to look at the whole person and kind of work with them through the process to educate them, do you tend to see people that come through once or twice, they come through for a month? Like, do people stay long term? How, for you, what does that look like, and what is success in that area? Like, for a normal doctor, for instance, at a clinic, they would want you to be in and out and then fixed, right, and not come back ever again, hopefully for the same thing. But it seems in my view that this style of treatment tends to be something where we're going to work on it for a little while, for a couple of treatments. Or
I tend to be a very hands-on acupuncturist. I got my inspiration to do acupuncture through martial arts. So I grew up in Albany, Oregon, and I did martial arts with a taekwondo with a Korean guy, Grandmaster Shin, at the bottom of the basement of Two Rivers Market. And I remember being little, and he'd have the class sit down. I was probably in middle school, and he'd lecture us for like 30 minutes about like health, about acupuncture, about respect. And we'd be sitting on this concrete floor, cross-legged, and our feet would just go numb. And then he'd be like, "Okay, everyone stand up. Now do kicks." We would all have to like hobble up and try to like kick bags. But I got my introduction to traditional East Asian medicine very hands-on, very like punching, kicking, doing massage. So my style of acupuncture is pretty much hands-on. So I like to treat a lot of pain stuff. So for the most part, with pain, I'm really just trying to get people out of the door. I don't need a lot of visits for that. But oftentimes, with chronic pain, it becomes reoccurring, and so then you see people a lot longer. So I'll give you an example. The easy answer to your question is, for acute illnesses, it's twice a week, 3 weeks. For chronic conditions, it's once a week for 6 weeks. And then for really chronic conditions, then you're going like, once a week for 6 weeks, and then you're reducing that slowly. So you can see people a lot longer. The way that you determine how fast, the way that you can guess how fast someone is going to heal is really about how fast does someone heal. So we're not really fixing anything, we're just stimulating a healing response. So if you have a scab, how long is that going to heal? Or if you have a cut, how long does that take to heal? Well, it's going to take 2 weeks to heal. Like, I can't speed that up. Like, that's as fast as your body goes. You can put a Band-Aid on it. You can put Neosporin on it to make sure it doesn't get affected. But really, 2 weeks is like top. And so with acupuncture, how long is it going to take to get better? It's as fast as your body can heal. And there'll be things that can slow your healing down, right? So, for example, smoking, that's a really easy one that'll slow your healing response down. The other thing is, like, if you're not sleeping, right? So if you can't sleep, you don't heal, because the majority of your healing happens at night. So if you're not sleeping right, that slows it down. If you're, not taking care of yourself, not eating right, that slows the healing response down.
Well, so you guys know we gotta talk a little bit about COVID. I know it's a hard situation for a lot of people. More for some than Travis and I. Our business has been set up remotely from the beginning, so we're very blessed in that regard. But to my understanding, your business has been impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So you've probably got a lot of people that you're not able to see for different reasons. And what kind of advice could you give to someone that might help them during this time as it relates to acupuncture?
Yeah, there's a ton of advice. There's a ton of super cool things. Okay. So the first thing is, anytime there's some sort of pandemic, or anytime there's any sort of new disease or illness, you'll see a lot of people trying to sell you on the next fad, the next health fad.
True.
And it's not that those things are bad, and it's not that you shouldn't buy those things. But before you buy those things, you need to do the basics. Basically, before you spend a bunch of money to try to buy something, you got to have a strong foundation. And so your foundation needs to be, Are you sleeping? Are you eating? And are you breathing correctly? And if you're not doing those things correctly, then anything that you buy or do is just not going to be effective. All right. So before you take astragalus, because astragalus will increase white blood cells, let's make sure that you're getting 8 hours of sleep, because that also increases white blood cells. Right. Before you high dose vitamin C, because that's helpful with your immune system, let's make sure that you're cutting out sugar. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't worry about all this other stuff that you could do and all these things that people are trying to sell you. Like, do the foundations first. Make sure that your body is just as healthy as it can be with the stuff that you have available.
Hi, this is Nicole Lucenti, and I was just curious if acupuncture helped with digestive issues.
Hey, Nicole, that's a great question. It can help with a lot of different things, but it really is effective at treating things that are parasympathetic affected. So parasympathetic nervous system being rest and digest and fertility. And acupuncture stimulates those systems very effectively. So we found that acupuncture is definitely good at treating digestion. Now, again, anytime you're dealing with digestion, acupuncture is just part of the picture. There's a whole bunch of other things that need to get involved with, oftentimes herbal medicine is better, because acupuncture is something that you'll do twice a week, but eating is something that you do 3 times a day. And so sometimes we get better results actually using definitely diet therapy and definitely herbal medicine, because those are things that you can do every day by yourself. And acupuncture is something that you just do some of the time. But definitely it's in our top 5 as things that were effective at treating.
Talking about, success, failure, or funniest moments like that, anything you got, I think that would really
That'd be
speak to them.
interesting. Okay, so let me talk about that. Oddly enough, what has been most profound for me with being successful in business has really been kind of my mindset. So when I first started out, you're just afraid of everything. You're afraid of money, financial issues. You're unsure of yourself as a practitioner because you haven't seen a lot of people. You're basically unsure of everything because you've never done it before. And what I really found was that when weeks when I was excited and when I was happy and I believed in myself and I had a positive attitude, I saw an uptick in my patient load. And weeks when I started to feel defeated and just was like, oh, I don't know if I can do this, it almost seemed like I saw less patients. And it was really about one of the easy things something that's been really really one of the best things for my business has really just been, first off, just having a great mindset going into every day, just kind of excited and happy. And in a very kind of like practical sense, like, people don't want to see a grumpy acupuncturist, right? They're already grumpy because they're sick and they hurt, and they want hope, they want inspiration, that they can get better. And so I find that that's been a huge component in me being successful, is really just kind of getting my head together, really kind of doing a deep dive on what makes me excited, what makes me happy, what do I feel like my purpose is. And once I key in kind of onto my purpose, then a lot of my decisions about what I want to do with my business and who I want to help has been, it's just kind of like you go down the river, you go with the current rather than fighting the current, kind of finding your niche, finding what made me successful, what made me excited, was a key to kind of growing my business in a very kind of natural and easy way. I also felt like I could talk to people more genuinely and from the heart when it was something that I was excited about or passionate about.
Yeah, and people can pick up on that really easy. I think you're spot on that passion and that purpose that you talk about. People people are not dumb. They can't. They're not sold easily on something that you're not excited about. And so I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, that's
Good point.
that's a very like that's intrinsic to just about any type of business. I think especially if you spend any time in sales at all, you realize if you don't believe in the product you're selling, like it's just impossible to sell it to somebody. I mean, you might get away with it a little bit here and there, but the only way to genuinely sell something is if you believe in it and you want to buy it yourself, right? So as a practitioner, it's great to hear that like you have to have the right mindset. You have to show up at work excited for the things that you're going to be doing, and that just kind of flows into your patient.
Yeah, definitely. I also, one of the things that I'm working on right now as a business person is, this will sound bad to say, but like not holding myself to such a high standard. Because my default is anytime anyone comes in, I want them leaving first treatment 100% better. And that's just not a real expectation. But I still hold myself to it, right? And so creating clear expectations for myself, but also clear expectations for the patient of like, this is what you're going to get, and this is what you should expect.
I think that's good. I think you can extrapolate that out just for business in general, that you have to have expectations for yourself because you're going to be your harshest critic a lot of times. But you also have to lay that out for the client as
Yeah.
well. Like one of those first conversations needs to be like, this is how we do it, you know, our process. But then, of course, here's the expectations you should have. And those expectations should probably not always be that you're going to be 100% happy. I mean, you wouldn't say it that way, but that's kind of the end result is like we're gonna move you
Yeah.
forward. We're gonna get you closer to your goal, which is what we're here to do. But everybody has to know what those expectations are, and people will be a lot happier when they realize what they should be expecting.
So I want to thank Becky and Nicole for providing some questions for Will.
We'd definitely like to thank Will for being on the podcast today. We appreciate his time and all the insight that he has into this. And Will, do you have a website or somewhere where people can find you if they want to get in touch with you or have more questions?
Yep. Valley Health Clinic is my website. You can reach out to me there, and you can call me if you have any questions. If you want to take me out to coffee and talk more about acupuncture, I love talking about acupuncture.
Right on. Well, thank you very much, Will.
It kind of would be fun to just talk about fun things, like
Such as?
Funny story about a guy coming in who was a jokester, and he was joking that anytime he gets nervous he has projectile vomiting, and so his wife had tipped me off that he was gonna kind of pull off jokes, and so I told him that that's something that's very common for people, and I have this specific acupuncture point that I do that's right between his balls and his butthole that fixes that problem. Total straight face, and he was like, no, I'm fine, I'm just joking.
Oh,
I'm sure that can't be the first time that one's come up.